Welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. Welcome to We Vote, Connie and Rudy show. My name is Connie Guerrero. I live here in the Peninsula, and I'm happy to be joined by Rudy Espinosa Murray, who is here with us today and is going to help us today. Hi, Rudy.
Hi, Connie. Thanks so much for for being here with me today again. Week after week we started this, and I'm always excited because we got some really cool guests speaking. I'm going to switch over to Spanish a little bit. Todas las semanas tenemos a un invitado especial. Esta semana tenemos a alguien que considero un amigo, y la verdad estoy muy orgulloso de él porque acaba de ganar el puesto de concejal en la ciudad de Redwood City. So I'm really excited to introduce the person today because he's not only wonderful, but he's also a friend. He just won his election as a city council member of Redwood City, District 4, which is actually the district that I live in, Redwood City. So it's extra special for me today that my council member is here with us. So Michael, I want to say welcome. How are you doing?
Hey, welcome Connie. How's it going? Good to be here. Happy Saturday.
Thank you for joining us today, and congratulations.
Congrats. Thank you. It's great. Thank you.
So we for you. Sorry, go ahead, Connie. You can go ahead.
I'm sorry, Rudy. So we both want to jump in and ask you all kinds of questions because we're super excited that you won and that you're going to be representing District 4 in Redwood City. So I just, I kind of want to ask you about your district, first of all. And I know that you ran unopposed. So I kind of want to ask, and I'm going to ask you in English, and then I'm going to ask you in Spanish so you can answer. But I do want to ask you what your thoughts are about how are you going to be reaching out to residents in your community? How will you stay connected with them in this district that's mostly a Latino district? So, una de las preguntas que yo tengo para Michael hoy es cuáles son las ideas de él para conectarse con los residentes del Distrito 4, donde él va a representar a los residentes, que la mayoría son residentes que hablan español o son latinos. So, Michael?
Yeah. Gracias a todos. I really appreciate you inviting me onto the show. And your first question is a really, really good one. I have several plans on how to stay connected, specifically with the Latinx community in District 4. So the first one is, just by staying connected to the neighborhood associations here in the district. So that includes Stambaugh Heller, Palm Park, and part of Redwood Oaks as well. And I just want to make sure that they know that I am a listening ear for them. Actually, the leadership of those neighborhood associations are all Hispanic, and I'm hoping that that relationship will help to kind of seed policy discussions, discussions around services that those folks in my district are really in need of. So that's the one way. The second way is I'm a member of the Latinx Democratic Club that both you and Rudy are leaders in, and I will definitely be kind of an active member and participant in as much as possible. And I think from a regional perspective, it's going to give me a lens on what's happening in that community. And then I think just generally keeping my ears open and having as many meetings. I want to encourage anyone who wants to meet with me to reach out. You can email me at michaelsmith@redwoodcity.org anytime, and I'm open to meeting, having a conversation. So those are the ways that I'm thinking about it.
That's great.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and we're happy that you're really open to taking in feedback from the community that you serve. I think that's the best way that you can lead us is by hearing directly from us what our needs are. So this has been an unusual election year. I spent the last couple of months working on the election, everything from the nationwide, working on the U.S. Senate seats and for Biden. But I also had the opportunity to assist candidates at the local level. And it's been really interesting to see the results, what's happened across the board in San Mateo County. For me, at least, personally, it's one of the most exciting moments to see women of color, LGBT folks, and men also of color or a person of color that's an LGBTQ community member take office. And specifically, when we look at Redwood City, we went from having a mostly white city council to now being a majority minority city council. What are your thoughts about that? And what are some of the expectations that you have with this new transformed and renewed city council in Redwood City?
So I think first of all, I really appreciate the question. It's a really great question. I think that the California equal protection law that kind of drove the districting process here in Redwood City was kind of spot on. I mean, if you look at the results that have happened in Redwood City, as well as places like Menlo Park, as soon as a districting process was put into place, it completely upended the representative dynamics of that city council. And so for Redwood City, what that means is we now have 2 Latinx members on the council. We have an African-American member on the council. We have an Asian-American represented on the council. And of course, we have our white brothers and sisters represented on the council. And so, that is representative style democracy. It plays a part. I think that representation matters in politics and in elected government. And so it's really important that we have these voices now at the table. And I really think we're going to get a chance to see a burgeoning of incredible policy that's going to come out of City Hall that's going to have positive impact across our community.
Yeah, so I recently saw former California U.S. Senator Boxer on CNN today, and she was specifically talking about why, to her, it's important that a woman of color is selected to be the next California senator. And she talked about how she spent her whole life trying to walk in other people's shoes, but there's only so much that you can do, especially if you're a person that has lived a life of privilege, and then when we talk about experience, like the life experiences of people of color or people of the LGBTQ community really matters when it comes to policy, because it does have a major impact. So I'm really happy to hear that you recognize that and that you're a part of that and you're a part of that change. Connie?
Yes. So, Michael, one of the other questions that I have for you has more to do with a little bit of representation on the BCCs in Redwood City. Right now, we still have BCCs that are chosen citywide. What do you think about maybe possibly choosing BCCs based on districts?
Yeah, it's another great question. I think that to your point, BCCs represent a pipeline within our city's leadership structure. And until we have a robust and diverse pipeline of BCC members, we're going to constantly be battling this issue of representation on the council level, but also on the county level as well. So it's really important that we take a look at our BCCs. So one of the things that's happening is that with the development of the Police Oversight Committee here in Redwood City, we're actually going to be doing kind of a first of its kind type of experiment where each individual council person will be selecting a representative from their district to serve on that oversight committee. So it's exactly to your point. And I'm really excited to see how that goes and how that turns out, because I think that will give us the ammunition to make it more of a compulsory style selection process. And so, yeah, I envision it going very well, frankly. It's going to take into account, the various communities from Friendly Acres to Palm Park to Redwood Shores. All of them are going to come together and have representation on this committee. And, once we prove that it works, we can continue to do it with all the other BCCs.
Michael, you brought up the perfect segue into our next question, which is about police reform. I think there is a lot of concern in the Latino community and the African American community in Redwood City with over-policing and excessive use of force. What are some of your thoughts on that, and what do you expect this committee? What do you expect some of the deliverables of this committee to be to have a change on policing in Redwood City?
So I appreciate the question. I actually was really at the forefront of the proposal of the Oversight Committee. I worked with some of the Black Lives Matter protest organizers to develop a series of recommendations that went to the city manager, the city council, and the chief of police. And we were really pleased that this Oversight Committee was taken from that list of recommendations and put into place. My vision for what the Police Oversight Committee does is a few things. I think number one, it will have implications on, at some point, maybe not right away, unfortunately, but at some point will have implications on HR related decisions. That's the first thing. Number two will be policy related decisions, specifically policy related to use of force. So I want to see a full and robust review of our use of force policy. And I want to see a kind of progressive, and from my opinion, a progressive lens needs to be taken to the review of that policy. And finally, a budgeting kind of conversation should be happening in that BCC. We need to talk about what is the appropriate level of budgeting, where should funds be moving toward within the police department, and how can we make that spending more effective. So those are the three ways that I see the Oversight Committee being really effective. And as a council person, I'm going to be actively looking to make sure that that committee is empowered. This is not a paper tiger, as they say, right? Like, this is going to be a committee that has a mandate and will have the support of their elected officials to really create change.
Mm-hmm. Great. I think, Rudy, you had another question that was something that we were discussing. We've been discussing.
Notes. I was taking notes on what Michael was saying. I do, and this is going to be our last question because we're just out of time. But Mike, I want to say thank you for joining us today. My last question is with regards to the vaccine. There's a lot of people in our community that are concerned about taking the vaccine and the whole process and how it's been politicized. And there may not be that much trust in this vaccine, but maybe it's the only way for us to go back to normal or having some kind of semblance of normality. Are you going to be taking the vaccine when it becomes available and you're able to access it?
Yes. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the conversation tonight. And just to answer your question directly, yeah, I will definitely be taking the vaccine for sure. I really think that as people of color, we exist in communities that are tight knit, and we come into contact with folks, young people, older people, all on a regular basis. And it's really important that we, because we live in such tight-knit communities, go forward and take this vaccine so we can protect these folks, especially the most vulnerable in our community. And so I'm going to be looking forward to taking it. And I'm really looking forward to all of the pandemic crisis being over. Truly.
Yes, I think all of us are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Michael, thank you so much for being with us today. I do want to reiterate, that if you need any assistance, if you need anything from us, please reach out to us. We Vote, specifically volunteers, worked in your district a lot just to get people to participate and get out the vote. So we are very familiar in your district. We have volunteers, Latinas for Action, that did a lot of work in that district. So I'm happy that you're representing that district. Congratulations again, and thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you. Have a great night, guys.
Thank you.
Michael. Talk to you soon.
All
Connie,
right.
that was a really good conversation. I'm really happy that we got to have Michael here with us today. There's two things that stood out to me, and one is specifically the Police Oversight Committee. Ironically, my brother is a police officer, and he is actually the president of the police union down in South Florida. And him and I have gone into so many debates, specifically around the use of force and over policing of specific communities and all that. I'm just really happy to see someone taking city council having a very pragmatic approach to finding solutions to work with our police, because we do need police. They do serve a purpose, and we just have to find ways of making it better so that we have friendly relationships. I'm going to switch over to Spanish now, so we can talk about. Yeah. No, estaba comentando que mi hermano es policía en el estado de la Florida, entonces me parece un poco irónico porque yo estoy al lado de que hay que reformar la policía, ¿no? Que esté para servir la comunidad y no ser víctimas de una política o lo que se decimos en inglés over policing, como que sobre policiando, por decirlo así, en la comunidad, ¿no? Que los policías obviamente van a encontrar supuestamente más crímenes, pero porque pasan en los barrios, no van a otros barrios de las personas blancas, ¿no? Pasan en los de las personas de color, en los africanoamericanos o los latinos, y hay que cambiar eso. Entonces me encantó de verdad escuchar a Michael hablar que eso es una prioridad de él, uniéndose al consejo de Redwood City.
Sí, claro. Sí, a mí también me gustó que han platicado acerca de ese tema. Me gustó la idea de él de cómo conectarse con los residentes también de su distrito, que dijo que iba a trabajar con los, ¿cómo se dicen? Los neighborhood associations, las asociaciones de barrios, sí. Sí, es bien importante, yo pienso que de esa forma conectarse con los residentes, ¿verdad? Porque hay veces que tal vez los residentes no saben la información que viene de la ciudad o tal vez no están conectados a la ciudad. Entonces, de alguna forma, hay que llevarles esa información a los residentes. So, qué bueno que él va a tratar de realmente llegar a los residentes. Como le expliqué a él, bien durante las elecciones estuvimos trabajando en las calles, llamando por teléfono y dando información a la gente, dejando información en las casas. Entonces, conocemos el distrito bastante y pienso que Michael es pues un gran representante para ese distrito. Te quería hacer una pregunta a ti, Rudy. Nomás entra acá a ver tú qué piensas. ¿Qué piensas tú de las personas que dicen que tal vez Michael no sería la persona adecuada para un distrito latino, verdad?
Me encanta esa pregunta porque hace unos meses una persona hizo ese comentario en Facebook y la verdad me enojó porque cuando nosotros vemos al tratamiento, o sea, cómo el gobierno o la sociedad trata a las personas de color, ¿verdad? Somos diferentes, somos de segunda clase, los latinos, los africanoamericanos, o sea, no nos tratan igual, no tenemos ese privilegio que tienen las personas blancas. Esa es la realidad, ¿no? Una persona como Michael, que ha sobresalido, ¿no? Que una persona de su color de piel, que tiene esa experiencia, él va a entender más de los temas que nos afectan a nosotros como personas de color sobre cualquier otra persona. La verdad, su experiencia de vida nos dice que él puede ser un buen representante. Las personas de color tienen que estar unidas, no deberíamos estar divididos, porque divididos es la forma en que nosotros perdemos el poder y perdemos ese mandato que pudiéramos tener si estuviéramos unidos en cuanto a los temas políticos o sociales que nos impactan. Un ejemplo perfecto, cuando vemos la respuesta de la pandemia de COVID-19, ¿quiénes hemos sido los más afectados? ¿Quiénes?
Nosotros, sí, la comunidad latina.
La data está clara, ¿no? Los latinos y los africanoamericanos son los que más han sufrido. ¿Por qué? Porque nosotros tenemos los trabajos que están enfrente de todas las personas. Si es en un restaurante, si es en un hospital, si es trabajando cuidando ancianos, si es, o sea, todos esos puestos, si es cosechando en las fincas, ¿no? O sea, esos son los trabajos que tenemos nosotros. Y
no necesariamente tenemos la opción de trabajar de casa, ¿verdad? O sea, y si trabajamos de casa, tenemos a los hijos y vivimos con otras personas, familiares, los abuelos. Entonces, sí, hay muchas razones.
Exacto. ¿Qué pasa? Y él lo mencionó, y eso me deja claro que él entiende el tema que nuestras comunidades somos muy unidos y vivimos varias generaciones bajo un techo. Y las cosas que necesitamos nosotros son muy diferentes a las personas que tienen el dinero, que tienen la oportunidad o el privilegio de ser dueños de su propia casa, de que sus hijos pueden vivir en otro lado, no tienen que vivir bajo su propio techo. Eso no es la comunidad latina, nosotros, no es la experiencia de nosotros. Y él entiende eso. Entonces, cuando alguien me dice, que tal vez no representa a la comunidad porque no es latino, ok, tal vez no come, no sé, no comes carne asada con unas tortillas, ok, tal vez en ese sentido no comes. De verdad, como yo, acabo de comer tacos y estoy aquí con mis jarritos, ¿no? Tal vez no como lo mismo que comemos nosotros, pero en cuanto a la experiencia, temas que nosotros tenemos. Así que, no, muy buena pregunta, me encanta, Connie. ¿Qué pensás de lo que él dijo de las vacunas? Eso me encantó.
Sí, yo estoy de acuerdo con él también. En cuanto haya la vacuna, hay que vacunarnos. Es muy importante para nosotros que lo hagamos en cuanto podamos, porque no va a ser pronto, pero en cuanto podamos, sí, es muy importante, Rudy.
Sí, la verdad que sí. Yo la verdad estoy esperando que ya tengamos esa oportunidad de estar vacunados porque vamos a limitar el contagio, ¿no? del virus. Y como estamos hablando, muchos de nosotros tenemos varias generaciones bajo un techo y podemos proteger a nuestros abuelos. Yo perdí familiares este año, incluso COVID, perdí a mi abuelo hace 2 meses y una tía abuela y un tío abuelo, y ha sido muy difícil para nuestra familia. Y como estamos mencionando, todos vivimos bajo ese techo. O sea, tenemos mi abuelo que estaba con mis tíos y mis primos bajo el mismo techo, y parece que uno de mis primos lo trajo a la casa y se lo dio a mi abuelo. Entonces, tuve otro tío que estuvo en un hospitalizado y casi se muere y sufrió mucho. Y ahora por gracia de Dios logró salir y se curó, pero fue súper difícil y deberíamos de evitar esa experiencia para otros, ¿no?
Así es. Sí. Y mientras tanto tenemos que seguir usando las máscaras y manteniendo la distancia, lavándonos las manos, haciendo todo y manteniéndonos en nuestro espacio con nuestras familias, que como se dice, en nuestra burbuja social que le llaman y durante estas Navidades tener que recordar que que seguir, pues, seguir haciendo eso y asegurándonos de mantenernos seguros todos.
Y hay un grupo de latinos, específicamente los trabajadores agrícolas, ¿no? Que están en las fases de vacunación, están en la fase 1B. Quiere decir que están segundo en la línea para recibir la vacuna. Si lo que nos están escuchando, nos están viendo, si tienen familiares que trabajan en fincas y llega la oportunidad, por favor, déjenles saber que es importante que se vacunen para que no pierdan su trabajo, para que no contagien a otra persona, para que se mantengan saludables. Yo sé que muchos tenemos miedo, ¿no?, el riesgo de perder nuestro trabajo y una manera para aliviarnos de esa ansiedad y esa preocupación es ser vacunado, ¿no? Estar vacunado y no nos tenemos que preocupar que nos dé el virus o dárselo a otra persona, especialmente si vivimos con mucha persona en la casa. Pero gracias, Connie. Yo creo que ya estamos al tiempo, pero
¿Sí?
me encantó la conversación. Sí. Muy amena.
Sí, qué rápido pasa el tiempo, ¿verdad? Pero pues muy bien. Muy bien la entrevista de Michael. Esperamos ver cómo trabaja con los demás concejales también y qué bueno que lo tuvimos aquí en el programa para tener la oportunidad de hacerle estas preguntas. Gracias, Rudy.
Gracias,
¿Qué tenemos
Connie.
para la otra semana?
Vamos a ver, va a ser sorpresa.
Muy bien, muy bien. Muy bien, pues
Perfecto.
muchas gracias. Hasta luego.
Chao.